Hey guys, let's see how many people we can get on this random live today. See if we can change some lives. It's kind of loud where I'm at, so if you guys can drop a comment down below, let me know if you can hear me okay, and also let me know if the environment's too loud. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Keith Calloway, what's up, man? Kay Gardner, I see y'all. Craig Scarborough, Cynthia, how you doing? Chris C, what is going on, people? Happy Sunday, everyone. Nefertiti, Donat Jones, family's doing great. Thank you for asking. Mama Mia Nelson, what's going on? Gloria Villarreal, Christian Johnson. Hey, cool. So everybody's hearing me. Willie Mills, what's up, bro? And Dalton, how are you? All right, beautiful, beautiful. JF Enterprises LLC, Kelly, John Morgan, I see you guys. Sylvia Perez, Tone, Capone. All right, guys, cool. So we in here. There were several things I was thinking about. A lot of people ask me, why do I go to the gym every single day? And the reason why is because I've built momentum on my side when it comes to fitness. And for me, at this point in my life, thanks to the habits that I've built up over the years, is so strong that I can't get my day going without getting my training session in. I don't feel complete. I don't feel as good without it. So, and it helps every aspect of my life. Me and my wife, we enjoy working out together. Builds up the endorphins, makes you healthier, makes you more resistant to injury, more resistant to disease and sickness. So there's a lot of positives to this. But anyway, the reason for this video today is I want to share with you guys the 7 habits. Actually, there's more than 7 habits, but I'm going to try to minimize it to the 7 habits, 7 millionaire habits that I've used and implemented into my life. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because anyone can implement these habits. And you know, I'm a living proof that this stuff works. And, you know, there's a lot of negativity out, and I feel like so many people have stopped dreaming, and they've given up on the possibilities. So this is kind of like a motivational Sunday, but at the same time, these are going to be actionable steps that anyone can implement to improve their financial situation. They can improve their life and the life of their family. So, so anyway, and I'm gonna do my best to try to answer any questions that come up in the comments. If you guys are getting any value out of this, definitely drop me a like. And the comments are coming in so fast. So, but if you could drop me a like if you're getting any value out of this. I'm gonna try to get into this and hopefully improve some lives here. And I'm gonna challenge you guys to do something different. And that's one of the biggest. Habits of millionaires is to do things that you haven't done before, because if you keep doing the same things you've been doing, you're more than likely going to continue to get the same things you've been getting. So if you're happy with where you are in life, then keep doing what you're doing. Don't make any changes. But if you're looking for something different, then you may want to consider some of the habits that I've implemented personally into my life, and maybe you consider implementing them into your life. But really quickly, I do want to say that money's not everything. Money is definitely not everything, but it's what the money allows you to enjoy and benefit from as a result of having it that was the true motivating factor for me making the changes in my life personally that I've made. Habits of Millionaires, Queen of Destiny, there she is, Ray Alexander. So Brian's looking for something different. Brian Drapala. Veronica Arzola, I'm sorry. So anyway, Cue Ball for life, I see you, man. All right, so one of the things you have to take into consideration is, okay, well, we've all heard that money is not everything, and I totally agree. Money is definitely not everything, but what we've realized over the last several months is that in my opinion, personally, you guys, drop me a comment down below or in the comments if you disagree. But, I feel like the lack of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. Money itself is an arbitrary thing. And, sometimes we have to really question our beliefs about money in order to fix our financial situation. And that's definitely what I had to go through. I had to really think about, okay, well, what are my philosophies about money that maybe are hindering my growth financially, So, I guess the first thing I want to say is, unemployment right now, or at least according to, the August numbers, was 8.4%. All right. So when we hear 8.4%, now granted, that's a lot lower than the 16% that we were at back in, I think it was March going into April is right around 16%. It was the highest amount of unemployment that we've ever seen. Record numbers of individuals applying for unemployment benefits. It was insane. And everyone was scared. I was concerned, not scared. I was concerned. I was trying to take in a lot of different information. I recognize the game that gets played. And so I'm like, okay, how much of this is truth? How much of this is extra hype? Media, you got to remember, if this is a game, media companies make money on fear. So the more people we can get scared, the more people are going to watch our show. The more people are going to watch, the news, the more people are going to watch, the ads that come up on the news. So it's a game, and the sooner you recognize the game, the sooner you can benefit and strategically place yourself in the right position so that you can win. So, my whole goal with this channel, this is a financial channel. I cover unemployment, cover a lot of the stimulus updates and things like that. But at the end of the day, the truth is, if you look at it, monetarily, even if you got a stimulus check tomorrow for $2,000, as much as it would help people temporarily, that's not a long-term solution. And my goal with this channel is to make people more self-reliant and to be able to build their financial net worths the way I did. And I'm not saying that the way I did it is the best way or is the only way, but I know it works. And so my whole goal is just to just share my experiences so that more people can, put themselves in a strategic position to win. It's kind of like a chess game, an amateur player understands, or has an idea of their next, 1 to 3 moves. But there's different levels of the game. And the more levels that you can understand, matter of fact, if you don't even understand the game, you don't even realize the rules of the game. And so you would never be able to put a strategy together if you don't even understand the rules. So if you took an amateur chess player who knows his next 1 to 3 moves, okay, cool. You know your next 1 to 3 moves, right? But a master chess player, he knows his next 11 to 15 moves. And, that's one of the biggest indicators of success, how well you can strategize and position yourself in spite of the situations that you're in. You got to be able to outthink your situations. And so, I feel like one of the biggest, for lack of a better term, I feel like the biggest scam that the market has played on the people is to convince the people that the power is not in them and that the power is external to them, right? So that's why I'm a big fan of Veronica Arzola. Tell your wife hello. I will. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm a huge fan of investing in yourself. So anyway, so let's go back to the unemployment real quick. Unemployment was reported as 8.4%. Big drop from the 16% that we saw in March, in April. I'm not trying to discount the fact that, it's a bad situation or, the unemployment rates are high and there's a lot of people out there hurting. Please don't misunderstand where I'm coming from. My whole intention is to help people. It's not to be, insensitive or anything like that. What I do want to say though is your perspective is everything, right? So if you think about it, okay, unemployment's 8.4%, but here's a number that no one's talking about, right? The employment rate is 91.6%, right? Now just think about that for a second. It's the exact same numerical value of 8.4% unemployment. But if you change your perspective, it's like, oh wow, wait. So you mean 91.6% of people are actually still working? Wait a minute. Okay, so now that 8.4% unemployment doesn't quite seem so bad. Now, whatever the number is, it is what it is. It doesn't even matter. The point is if your perspective is negative, then you're less likely to look for opportunities and be open for opportunities, all because of how you felt. And, I don't want to be all, weird or soft or anything like that, but your emotions are very important. So I have to keep my emotions in check. All right. So I'm gonna just strike up perspective and your willingness and ability to shift your perspective on how you view a problem or something that is perceived to be a problem is going to be the #1 millionaire habit that I want to share with you guys. OK, so your willingness to change it. Imagine this. So I gave you the unemployment perspective, right? So imagine this. Imagine you're standing in. So I'm at the pool right now, guys. All right, I'm gonna show you where I'm at. I'm at the pool, right? Everybody's out here having fun, right? So what I was gonna say though is imagine you out here with me, you're at the pool, right? But we're not standing next to each other side by side. So I'm here in the corner and I have my own perspective of the pool. But let's just say you're 200 feet away from me. Your perspective on the pool is going to be different. So if I said to you, okay, draw a picture, and you don't have to be a great artist or anything like that, but do your best to draw a picture of the pool, right? How you see it. Matter of fact, even better, I would say, this would be the equivalent of, hey, take your phone out, take a picture of the pool. I'll take my phone out and take a picture of the pool. Let's compare the photos we've just taken. That is a clear indicator that the perspective of the individual will change or shift greatly based on how you see things, right? We're both looking at the pool, but we're looking at it differently. So, that's why your perspective is so important. So you never ever want to look at a situation one-dimensionally. That will significantly hinder your ability to strategically place yourself. Remember, life is all about, if you remember, like life is a game, money is like points. That's the way I look at it. And it took me a long time to get to this point. Life is a game, money is points. The more points you earn, the more points you keep, right? The more points you can keep and tally up, that's net worth. So your net worth, if you look at it like this, your net worth is points. So the more points you have, the safer you're gonna be, because the more money you have, the more options you have, right? So I just wanted to quickly share that with you because I didn't learn this in school. I learned this through hanging out with people who were way smarter than me, doing things that I wish to do at some point in the future, and reading a lot of books. I mean, I don't even know how many books I have, but I thought it was just cool that, through books, I've never met Steve Jobs, but I read his autobiography or his biography. I've never met Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, owner, CEO and founder of Amazon. I mean, one day, hopefully it'd be cool if I ever met him, but you know what? I could sure spend $15 and get a book and read all about what he went through in order to go from nothing to the richest man in the world. So, if you look at things from the perspective of someone who's been successful, that's going to significantly change your life. So I just wanted to touch on that. I don't want to harp on that too much, but I can go in on that, and I don't want this live to be like 16 hours because I'll just talk forever. I don't want to talk you guys' ear off. Number 2, you got to be selective about who you listen to and what you listen to. All right. So, Annette York, I need to know what paper to read or what to watch to keep up with the stock market. All right. What paper to read? If you want to keep up with the stock market, there's a lot of different websites you can go to. I mean, you can just hang out on CNBC.com and you can keep up with the stock market there. You can go to seekingalpha.com. That's a website that I use to kind of check stocks and do a lot of research on that. There's a number of different websites out there. Really depends on, it's kind of a broad question that you ask. It's a good question, but it's a broad question. So there's a number of things, when you want to check up on the stock market. Well, what exactly do you want to check up on? Do you want to just look at, current prices? Do you want to read up on, recent and future acquisitions that the company is going to make, so that you could properly kind of determine, okay, well, what do I think that this company is going to be valued at some point in the future? So it's there's a lot that kind of goes into research. So I'm not really sure what you mean by what site can you go to kind of keep up with the stock market, but hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Sorry. All right. So be selective and not for another. Okay. So be selective about what you listen to and who you listen to. All right. So real quick, those of you guys who have been following me for a long time, you guys know that I don't really listen to the news that much. I don't listen to the radio, and I'm really selective about what movies and what shows I watch. And the reason why is because I realize the power of the mind. And, when you listen to the news, I've said this before, and I'll say it again because, it's the truth. And I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I'm just not gonna do it. So when you listen to the news, all they're gonna do is they're gonna share their perspective, or at least the perspective that they want you to adopt, right? So you got to think about it, okay? The news is the news doesn't share a whole lot of good news. It's called the news, but it might as well be called bad news, because every story, 95% of the stories are bad. So it's going to give you a negative perspective on life, and it's going to make you pessimistic about opportunities that may be present that you could take advantage of. But if you have a negative perspective on it, you're going to perceive that your risk is going to be higher. You're going to perceive that your ability to succeed is impossible, So you never want to like soak up all this negativity, because it's going to make it impossible for you to win. So that's why I don't listen to the news. If I need information, I'll research it myself, but I'm not going to sit there for an hour and let them bring me down. And now I feel like, I'm helpless. If you feel like you're helpless, you're not going to do anything. You'll just sit there waiting to be saved, and, I share a lot of information about stimulus checks, but the truth is, if you're sitting around waiting on a stimulus check to save you, I'm afraid for you, because you've now given your power to someone else. And, if I can't swim, I don't want to jump in the deepest end of the pool, hoping for someone to save me. I want to quickly figure out, how do I swim, so I can save myself and put myself in position. That way, if you got a stimulus check, you're in such a position where, if you got a stimulus check, great, throw it in savings, throw it in investment, do whatever you want with it. But you don't want to be in a situation where you have to depend on the stimulus check. And I understand a lot of people are in that situation. And I'm not, speaking badly about those people, but I'm saying the whole goal of my channel is to make you better off. And that's what I'm gonna do, So if I happen to give advice that's a little harsh, know it comes from a place of love. And, I want to see people do better. Me personally, I've gone through a lot of pain. I've gone through a lot of financial difficulty, and the lessons that I've learned, I'm just trying to share with people, so that you can fast track the improvement of your situation. That's where I come from that standpoint. So you want to be real careful about what you listen to. Also, the radio. Typically, the radio is full of ads. If you listen to the lyrics of certain songs, sometimes they're not necessarily the best for you. So, but anyway, aside from that, obviously there's some great songs out there. But one of the reasons I don't listen to the radio is because typically when I listen to the radio, I'm in the car. And one of the things I learned from millionaires, I learned from people who were in positions in life that I ultimately eventually wanted to be in. So one of the things I learned from millionaires is they learn to condense and compress the amount of activity they can get done in a given period of time. So what the heck does that mean, Ron? So where are you from? You should be a model. Thanks, Jessica. I'm from New York, but I live in Georgia. So anyway, compression of time and condensing of time. So what does that mean? What that means, and hey, if you guys are getting any value out of this video, do me a favor, like this video, share it on Facebook. I'd like to get my message out, because so many people right now, they're the negativity is just unbelievably low. And all I ask is, if you guys are getting value out of this, smash the like button, share it on Facebook. I really appreciate that. But so Ron is from, oh, you're from Kansas. Awesome, dude. Ron Bond, you're from Kansas. So anyway, yeah, so one other thing about, millionaires is they tend to, I'm sorry, compression and condensing the information, or compressing and condensing the amount of activity and work that can be done in a given period of time. I got a helicopter going over me. It's kind of loud. So the reason I don't listen to the radio in the car is because that, if I spend an hour a day in the car, let's just say I'm driving, an hour a day in the car, I look at things a little bit differently than how a lot of other people look at things. So I think about habits long term. I think about, what do I do on a daily basis that could impact me multiple moves down the road. Remember how I talked about the chess game? I'm always thinking multiple moves down the road. So if I take one action, there's always going to be a ripple effect, right? So I think about, okay, if I decide to do X, let's just say I go to the movies, right? If I go to the movies and I eat popcorn that one time, the next time I go to the movies, I'm probably going to be more inclined to eat popcorn because I did that the first time. And if I do it again, this is starting and building a habit that could ultimately create a dependency for me to have popcorn every time I go to the movies. However, on the flip side to it, if I never eat popcorn at the movies, it's now not difficult for me to avoid eating popcorn. And, I know it's a silly example, but it's something that I pay attention to, these little decisions that we make, because ultimately our decisions in life create the sum total and the ultimate experience that we have in life. Meaning, our life is a collection of all of the decisions that we've made up until this point. If we've made different decisions up to this point, we'd have a different life. It's kind of like the butterfly effect. If I could just go back in time 2 years, I would do this differently. Okay, cool. Well, if you went back in time and you did one thing differently, it would change an exponential amount of aspects of your life. So one decision can literally change your life. And I've had many times where I could literally look back and see the one decision that I've made that has ultimately literally changed the course of my life. So anyway, compression and condensing of activities. So if I'm in the car, I'm not listening to the radio, because all the radio is going to do is, entertain me at best, right? So instead, I would rather be in the car for an hour. If I'm going to be in the car for an hour, let's just say I'm commuting 30 minutes a day, one way, 30 minutes back or something like that. That's an hour a day. There's 52 weeks in a year. That's 52 hours in a year that instead of just being entertained, I could be educated. And, so I'll figure out, what, so this is thinking about your chess moves, right? Well, what do I need to learn based on what I know, based on where I'm trying to position myself, right? Based on where I'm trying to be, what do I need to learn about so that I can eventually acquire that skill, so that I can increase my income, so that I can identify investment opportunities, so I can identify, stock market investment opportunities, real estate investment opportunities, business opportunities. So what are those skills that I need to learn? Why not take that time that I normally just met, for, I don't want to use bad words on here. I know I got a variety of people listening to me, but why not use that time to educate myself, to gain a skill that I will ultimately be able to profit from, earn more money from, make better decisions from in the future? Because remember, the better decisions you make and the better strategy that you employ, the higher the chances you're going to be successful. And most people are worried about risk and losing money and saving too. I see you, Cue Ball. Think and Grow Rich. Exactly. That's a great book. Risk is what keeps a lot of people from taking chances, right? Now, what a lot of people don't understand about risk is simply the unknown. So the greater the unknown is, the greater the risk is going to be. So the more education and experience you can gain, the lower your risk will be. And so Anyway, not to bore you guys, but that's the truth. So I just wanted to share that little bit of information with you guys. So when I was telling you guys about, you know, learning from the rich have learned how to compress and condense time. So my way of compressing and condensing time is, instead of wasting time just driving my car to wherever I'm going, I'm going to use that time to learn something that is valuable for me, that will help me to level up and be worth more in the marketplace. All right. So other thing is learn from those who are succeeding. So, you know, like I said, you know, I never met Steve Jobs before. Unfortunately, he was an incredible man. Jeff Bezos, never met him before, but he's still alive. So there's still a possibility I could meet him. Warren Buffett, never met him before. Hope to meet him one day. His business partner, Eddie Munger. These are billionaire human beings. And I'm not saying that, you know, that you should praise them because they're billionaires. I'm saying that you should I'm saying that you should look at these people as people you could learn from. So if your goal is to make more money and to have more money and to have more options, that's the whole point behind having money. It's not so you can, you know, flaunt it. You know, that's a shallow way of using money, to flaunt it, and that doesn't help anyone. Okay, so, you know, if you put yourself in a position to have more money, you just have more options. So, you know, if someone got sick, you know, that you cared about and they couldn't afford to get proper medical treatment, maybe you could help them out. If you wanted to take your family on a trip, you know, whenever you wanted to, you'd have that option. You know, if a pandemic came, you're less vulnerable to needing to rely on a stimulus check to come in, or you know, so it creates options for yourself. You know, you want to put your kid in school, you don't have to rely on you know, different external variables for funding. You can fund it yourself. If you wanted to go into business for yourself, if you wanted to take a year off and say, hey, I need a break, you could take a year off. Just imagine if you had, you know, 3-4 years of savings set aside. Like, I'm talking about like living expenses. So let's just say, hypothetically, let's just say, you know, I don't know, let's just say, you know, you added up all your monthly expenses and you times it by 12, right? So that's 1 year of expenses, and then times it by 3. That's 3 years expenses. Imagine you had 3 years expenses and you know, the worst happened, you lost your job. Your level of stress is going to be a whole lot lower than someone who didn't have any savings. And so it's all about positioning. And that's why having money is important. It's not so you can flaunt or, you know, anything like that. Of course, you know, I like nice things, and I'm sure most of you guys like nice things too. And I definitely think that's cool. But the object of having money isn't to show off. It's to improve the quality of your life, reduce your stress level, and to open up opportunities for yourself. So anyway, that's my whole perspective on that. But you want to learn from those who are succeeding. So, you know, if, you know, we know it's very, very clear that Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, I'm drawing a blank right now, but there's a number of people who are clearly winning. And through books, through a $15, $20 book, you can learn from these individuals that you may never have been able to even get near. So you can learn how they grew up, what struggles did they go through, how did they overcome those struggles, and if you're, you know, if you understand that, and try to put yourself in their shoes. What were the thought processes that they went through? What systems did they put in place to enable them to become successful at the levels that they've become? And the more you adopt that, the more your perspective will be molded to be more similar to theirs, so that you can now execute in a way in your life to put yourself further ahead financially. Again, this is a financial channel, so you know that's why I'm harping on these different things, but it's true. And you know, I learned this, and so I'm sharing it with you guys. So the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, you want to be happy for other people. And why do I say this? When you're happy for other people, it proves to you, you know, like when you're happy for other people, it says a lot about your character. One, it says a lot about your character when you can be happy for others. But two, when you're happy for other people who have been successful, that is proof that you can be successful as well. So that is a huge vote of confidence for whatever your Warren Buffett is in the Illuminati. See, I mean, that's like negativity. All right, here's the thing. I'm gonna touch on that real quick, just because, you know, you can always find something negative about someone, right? So I gave an example about Warren Buffett. You know, there's theories apparently that Warren Buffett's a part of the Illuminati or whatever. Whether or not that's true or not, the point is this: he was successful in being a remarkable investor, probably the most successful investor of our time. So whether he's a member of the Illuminati or not, I don't personally care about that. I care about, well, what strategies did he use to become successful? As far as his affiliation with the Illuminati, whether that's true or not, that really doesn't concern me. I'm me personally, I have flaws. I'm not a perfect person. Everybody watching this is going to have flaws, and that's okay. The thing is what I've learned from the wealthiest individuals I've ever met is, you know, you need to create your own self. So this is actually a point I was going to hit later on in this live, but I was going to say, the most successful, wealthiest individuals I've ever met have learned to recreate themselves. So what does that mean? That means you will find that a number of people are successful in different areas of their lives. And when you identify those people, you might say to yourself, hey, you know, I like the way that this person speaks, or I like the way that this person carries himself, or I like the way that this person managed money. I like the way that this person built his business. I like the way that this person helped so many people once he became successful, right? I like how well this guy is with his family. I like how he treats his mom. You know, there are so many different positive things that you can take from people, but there's always going to be something that you disagree with and but that doesn't matter. What I do, and this is what I learned from, you know, like I said, I've been studying the habits of millionaires for over 15 years, and you know, it's been incredibly life-changing. And one thing I always remember is I never know everything, so I'll never know everything. I will always be a student, but I do realize that there's people who, you know, can learn from me. So while I'm a student, I continue to learn and add to my my repertoire, my knowledge base. It makes me more helpful to other people, but at the same time, as I remain a student, I continue to learn. And so as I continue to learn, I remain humble by doing so. You know, the moment you are no longer humble and you think you know everything, you've lost the game. So you never want to lose the game. And so, you know, that's one of the benefits of staying humble. But so anyway, you know, going back to Warren Buffett, okay, let's just say he is a member of the Illuminati. I don't know if that's true or not. And, you know, I don't even care. The key is this: you take the aspects of people that you like, that you would like to implement in your life, and you leave the rest. You know, that goes with any mentor. Like, I've had a mentor that, you know, I didn't like the way he, you know, raises kids personally. You know, I thought it was a great dad, but I wouldn't have, you know, raised my kids the way he did. But guess what? I was trying to learn a particular skill from him. You know, I wasn't coming to him for, you know, how to raise my kids. I wanted to know how to start a business. So he was really good at that. So it was kind of like, okay, cool. I'm just here for the business part. I'm leaving the rest. You know, you go into a restaurant, there's, you know, a couple page menu. You don't have to order everything. You just take what you want and leave the rest. So anyway, so being happy for others just proves that, you know, if you, let's just say you see a nice car drive down the street, right? I would love to know. Drop me a comment below. Let's just say you see a Ferrari that drives down the street. What's the first thing that you guys think? Please drop me a comment. I would love to know, what's your reaction. You see a Ferrari, you see a Lamborghini pull up. What's the first thing that comes to mind? I would love to just see a couple comments because I want to speak on this real quick. That's a nice car. Faye Bill says. Q Ball says, can't drive it. Laugh out loud. Come on, guys. I want to hear what you're thinking. Who's driving that? Is that a rental? I want to be like them. Awesome. JF Enterprises LLC. What else we got? I wish I had one. Pulls up, I think rich. Nice whip. I wonder how you got it. Okay, cool. So life is what you make it. Yep. So nice car. Okay, so here's one thing that I've noticed about a lot of people. And if this is you, you might want to reevaluate your thought process. If you look at the car and you think something negative, then how is that? You want to think about, you want to really evaluate your initial thoughts, right? A lot of people see a nice car, expensive car, they might think, oh, he's probably a snob, or oh, he's probably an a-hole, or oh, something negative, or he might have, he probably ripped people off in order to get the money to buy it. If you have negative thoughts like that, I'm not saying that you do, but if you have negative thoughts like that, that is a deeper rooted issue. And if you feel that it took something negative for him to do, or if you believe that he or she did something negative in order to acquire that, then your underlying belief system may be inclined to think that, oh, you have to do something deviant or underhanded in order to achieve a higher level of success. Oh, so I'm not saying that's you, but if that is you, I just want you to think about that. If you happen to think that way, when I see someone who's successful, they have a huge house, or they have an amazing, expensive car. I'm a huge car guy. I really like cars. Then I think to myself, wow, that guy did it. I wonder what he did. And maybe I go up to the guy, compliment his car, and just ask him a couple questions about cars. And before you know it, maybe it's a conversation that spawns from there. And maybe he says one thing to me, that opens my eyes to something to create a new opportunity. Who knows? But I just wanted to share that with you. You want to be happy for others because it's proof that if they did it, you could do it too. You just need to figure out how, right? And so that's the other thing. You want to get in the habit of asking yourself, how can I do certain things? A lot of people focus on the negative. Like, okay, your current situation is what it is, but the power comes from taking full responsibility for the situation, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's just say I got in a business or went into business and somebody screwed me over, or let's just say I left my laptop somewhere at a coffee shop and I came back and it was missing, or let's make up any negative situation that would be bad, right? Of course you're going to be pissed off. But the real root of that, the real thing that you should be taking away from that is the lesson on how could I have prevented that, right? So if you got screwed over, what did you learn from that? What did you learn from that person's character? How could you have structured the deal? How could you have structured the deal differently so that you weren't vulnerable to getting screwed? What could you have done so that you didn't put yourself in a position to have lost your laptop or have your laptop stolen? Whatever the case is, if it's negative, obviously it's not a good thing, but you need to be growing from that. This is why I teach that, failure is not bad. Failure is bad if you didn't learn from it, right? So that failure, I've had so many failures in my life. It's unbelievable, I remember when I first started trading stocks, I lost so much money. I lost $20,000 in a year by not knowing what I was doing, thinking, oh, I could just jump in and trade stocks, right? And, that came from a lack of education. It was a lack of experience. It was a lack of emotional control. There's a lot that goes into trading stocks, and trading stocks is different from investing. And a lot of people don't realize that. So, but what did I learn from that? What I learned from that was I'm glad I had, and when I lost 20 grand, that was a lot of money to me, right? So what I learned from that was number one, I'm glad I lost 20 grand early in my life before I had, let's just say 2 million to lose, right? I would rather lose 20 grand and let that be painful early in life than to not have had that lesson, wait later in life and have more at risk that I could potentially lose. So I'd rather get my lesson early, learn from it, teach others, help others to avoid that lesson, and let's move forward together, right? All right, so what else I want to talk to you guys about? Invest in yourself. So a lot of people are like, yo, I want to make more money. I don't have a job, or I'm trying to land a new job. You got to be willing to invest in yourself. You got to say, all right, well, where do I want to be? Where do I see myself in the next couple years? And I apologize. Let me try to answer some of these questions. Zetna Knack 110, that's what I'm doing. Michael Clark, what does it say? You ever think about doing video consultations? I started an LLC and could use your advice. You know what, Michael Clark, I appreciate that. You know, maybe I will consider doing some video consultations in the future. Right now, I've got so much going on, and I'm also working on this financial freedom program. So, you know, I'm really just trying to get that done. It's a big project. I've never created a program for others before. I just want this one to be really, really special. I hate to release anything that's not, you know, 100% of what I could have produced. So, you know, I'm just working on that. But I really appreciate that recommendation for at least considering doing the video consultations. But anyway, reinvesting in yourself. You got to say to yourself, all right, well, where do I want to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, hell, 6 months from now? Where do I want to be? You know, am I happy with where I'm at? And if I'm not, okay, well, what do I want to change, right? So you got to be willing to invest in yourself, but you need to know where you're going to figure out what your next move is going to be, kind of going back to the chess game, right? So be willing to invest in yourself. How do you invest in yourself, right? Now here's another thing I want to say real quickly. A lot of guys, a lot of people on YouTube have reached out to me and said, hey, I'm not working. I want to start investing. Ron, can you help me? Obviously I want to help you, but if you're not working and you have $100, the last thing I would tell you to do is to invest that into the stock market. Okay? If you're not working and you only have a couple grand to your name, I'm not going to tell you to invest in the stock market. That's just not what I'm going to tell you to do. And you know, there's other people who will probably say, oh, invest in the stock market, click my link, you know, because I'm going to make money if they sign up. Dude, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you any advice that I wouldn't give my son. So, you know, if my son was in a situation where, you know, he's not working, he comes to me, he's like, Dad, you know, I got a couple grand, I'm not working. I heard you say you can make money in the stock market. I want to invest. Nah, don't do that. I would personally, number one, first and foremost, that's going to instantly be your emergency fund, because that's all you got. Last thing you want to do is put that at any form of risk. Okay. So what I would say is, we need to get this income back, right? Now, how do you get income? The income would be, I need to get a job. I need to start working again. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you guys are getting any value out of this, smash that like button for me and share this video on Facebook. I really appreciate you guys. But anyway, I'm enjoying this. I hope I'm helping you guys out. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm focusing on landing a job, right? That's gonna be first and foremost. I wanna land a job as quickly as possible. If you have the skill to start if you have the skill to start a business really, really quickly, then I would definitely suggest that you consider doing that. However, a lot of people don't have the skill out the gate to start a successful business, especially if you have zero income and you need money real fast. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. A lot of people have asked me, yo, Ron, do you have experience with Amazon, selling online? Yeah. Got a lot of experience selling on Amazon. Sold on Amazon for several years. You know, generated hundreds of thousands of dollars on Amazon. You know, I know a lot of people who are very, very successful on Amazon, $1 million sellers. I know some people who do $1 million a month on Amazon, and some of these numbers are just unbelievable. And this is the value of expanding your circle. Like when you expand your circle, you would be blown away about what is possible in this world, because this is not what they teach you about in the mass media. It is unbelievable what is possible. So, you know, hopefully I'll share more on that later. But you know, so a lot of people are like, yo, how much does it take to get started on Amazon? As a matter of fact, someone, I responded to somebody in the comments today or yesterday, was asking me, hey, how much does it take to get started with Amazon? I know I'm getting off topic, guys, but I'm just trying to be relevant with the comments that are coming in. So someone was like, yo, how much does it take to get started with Amazon? I was like, well, you know, technically, I mean, you can get started with a couple grand on Amazon, right? But Would I do it? No. Um, if I was going to get started on Amazon, I would probably start with at least 5 or 6 grand, and not just 5 or 6 grand, but that better not be my last 5 or 6 grand. Like, I better have 5 or 6 grand that I could invest, and if it went away, it doesn't materially change my life in a negative way, right? Like, I don't want to take my 5 or 6 grand, which was my rent money, um, and then Amazon didn't play out the way I thought. That's not a smart move, and I would never advise anyone to do that. So if anyone's telling you, oh, just take 5 or 6 grand, don't worry about your financial situation, or just go for it, that's a little reckless. And I'm just not going to let people, it's not going to come from me. I'm not going to tell people, yo, throw caution to the wind and and wreck your life. That's just not cool. And I'm a big guy. I'm big on karma. And I'm gonna give advice that I would give my son. I'm gonna give advice to my audience as if I were giving it to my younger self. God, these flies are getting me. My mom stayed buying houses. What'd she say? My mom. Wait, what? My mom stayed buying houses when my dad left. She had to work to get money to invest. It is still paying back, and I will continue. It's hard work, I know. Long-term investing, short-term investing, day traders, swing. Okay. But yeah, so I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm just gonna give you advice, the realest advice I could possibly give. And at the end of the day, I would also never tell anyone to do anything. I'm a big fan of teaching other people to swim, or well, yeah, not really swim, but I'm a big fan of teaching other people to fish. So it's like, I don't want to give you a fish, which is like the equivalent of, hey Ron, what stock should I buy? Okay, buy this stock. That doesn't help you, right? You need to understand how to fish for yourself, right? Even if I gave you, even if I told you exactly what to do, to just follow that blindly, but that doesn't help you, and I'm gonna tell you why. Most investments, whether it's in the stock market, whether it's business, most investments, 99% of the time, are not gonna go straight the way you expect it to go. It's gonna be one of the most zigzaggiest travels to your destination that you've ever experienced. Success is not in a straight line. It is very unexpected. And so the reason why it's important to understand the decisions that lead to the choices that you make is so that, if environmental changes happen, you understand the decision making, you understand the decisions that determine why you should pivot or make a left or make a right or keep going in spite of what you see, or stop, reevaluate, change the strategy a little bit here and there, iteration, test. This is the whole thing. To be successful in life, it's like, obviously you want to start off with as much information as possible, but at some point in time you have to take action. But if you have zero information, then how can you make an educated choice, right? So life is like an experiment. Do you guys remember like hypothesis, theory, theory, hypothesis, experiment, test, conclusion, or something like that, right? Life is a series of iterations. Okay, I have a theory. How do I test this? Looking around, it's a chess game too, right? Looking around, okay, what's the risk? Okay, what's the potential reward? Is it even worth pursuing now that I understand the potential reward versus the potential risk? If the worst case were to happen, what happens next? So it's strategy, right? So I would rather teach people the understanding how to evaluate situations and investments so that you make the decision that works best for you. A decision that works for me might not work for you. Our situations and objectives are going to be different. And, even our horizon, like, let's just say you and I both make the same investment. If I'm willing to wait 12 years for it to be profitable, but then after 12 years, it does $100 million, but you needed a return in 2 years, no matter how profitable it is for me at 12 years, if you needed your return on 2, it doesn't work for you. So you have to understand the underlying metrics that govern the decisions that you make. You don't want to just take someone else's stock picks blindly, you know? So anyway, pattern recognition. Some of the most successful millionaires have been incredible at recognizing patterns that are setting up, right? Now, what do I mean by patterns, right? If you guys have ever looked at a stock chart, you're going to see that stocks don't go straight up. They don't go straight down. They create a pattern, right? So just, I don't know, go to whatever website you want to and just look up any stock. Your stock's never going to go straight up. It's never going to go straight down, but they typically create a pattern, right? So let's just take that for example, right? Economies, there's a pattern to them, right? Life, if you know how to look at life from a, you know, zoomed out perspective, there's patterns that take place. And those who learn to see patterns setting up, they can definitely take advantage of the patterns. So, you know, not everyone lost money during the recession. A lot of people said, you know, a lot of people, you know, who were smart and who were knowledgeable enough to understand the patterns that were setting up, they strategized and said, okay, all right, look at it like this. If you know a stock market crash is gonna happen, think about it, right? You know for a fact there's a stock market crash that's gonna happen. What do? You know, in the next 2 years, stock market crash is gonna do, right? Or in the next 2 years, the stock market is going to crash, and you're convinced that it is. And I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if in the next 2 years you knew the stock market was going to crash, what would you do, right? There are a number of things that you would do in order to position yourself. Keyword position, right? There's a chess game. You want to position yourself so that you minimize your downside risk, and you put yourself in a position where, okay, well, if this money comes out of the stock market, where is it going to go? A lot of people don't even understand that the stock market is, you know, when stock prices go down, that means that there's more sellers than there are buyers. It's basic supply and demand, right? So when stock prices start crashing, there's way more people trying to get out of them than there are people going into them, right? So that's supply and demand. There's more supply than there is demand, so the prices go down. And what happens when the prices go up? There's more people who want to buy them than there are people who want to sell them. And so those who are willing to sell for more. Exact same thing in real estate. You know, if everybody decided to sell their house and throw it on the market tomorrow, you can bet that the stock or that the real estate prices are going to drop. Why? It's basic psychology and behavioral economics. You have and basic, it's behavior economics and as well as basic economics. And so what happens is it's supply and demand. You put all these houses on the market, some people are going to be really needing to sell sooner than others. And so when their house isn't selling, what are they going to do? They're going to drop the price. Oh, this person got their house sold. Great. Well, the only way for me to compete and get my house sold is that I have to undercut this other person. And so when everyone keeps undercutting everyone else because everyone needs to sell at the same time, then, the prices just crash. And so that's basic economics, right? So anyway, but if you see these patterns setting up, then you say to yourself, okay, well, if I know that this is happening, if I'm knowledgeable enough because I've been investing in myself to be able to be aware of these patterns, well, how do I set myself up so I can capitalize on these market corrections? Yeah, knowledge is power, Isaiah, exactly. Stocks are not for everyone, Ronald Bond. I agree, man. That's the thing, some people don't invest in the stock market at all. They just invest in real estate. And some people don't invest in real estate or the stock market. Some people just invest in their businesses. But the thing is me personally, I like investing in businesses. I like investing in the stock market. I don't have any rental property right now from a real estate standpoint, but my objective is to kind of go that route. And as I learn and as I experience that, I'm gonna share that with you guys and share what I've learned in that. But the thing is, guys, you don't have to invest in everything to do well financially. Some people can just, like invest in stocks and they'll be a millionaire. They'll create a $1 million net worth doing that. Some people will never touch a stock ever in their lifetime, And what are your streams of income? Oh, good question. Diversify investments, JF Enterprises. So what? All right. So some people will. I'll answer your question about what my streams of income are. Zeta, give me 1 second. Um, some people will invest in real estate, never invest in stocks. That's fine too. Some people will just have, their only investment is their business, and they can do just fine. But you have to figure out. You need to understand what risks you're accepting with whatever investment you make. What are your long-term goals? What do you expect to happen as a result of you making that investment? And can you live with the risks that you're taking on? And will the goal, the end game, fulfill your needs? So those are some critical evaluations. And of course, do you have the knowledge and ability to execute to make these things happen, right? So those are things you want to consider. So Zeta asked, what are my, wait, and then Rosie said, I have $5,000 that I can invest long-term. What is the best stock to invest in? Personally, Zeta, if I only had $5,000 to invest in a stock, I would not invest in one stock. I would probably look at investing in a bundle of stocks, like an index fund or a mutual fund or something like that, ETF. If the thing is, if you buy one stock, it could do really well, it could do really poorly, or it could just stay flat. I don't want to take a risk on one stock, when I could bank on several successful stocks, mitigate risk, and better ensure my success. So that's what I would do. Not to say what you should do, but that's what I would do. What are my streams of income? So what are my streams of income? Well, you guys are watching me on YouTube. So this is one stream of income. I'm an owner of a couple of different businesses. So that's like three different businesses. I have income streams from dividend stocks, income streams from my stock portfolio, or multiple stock portfolios. What else do I have going on? You guys see my Teespring, those t-shirts under the video, under my YouTube videos. That's another stream of income. I'm just transparent with you guys, and you guys can do all these things. But I don't recommend anyone try to start multiple streams of income in one day. You're gonna fail. What you need to do, if you're interested in doing that, you want to pick, all right, and then I also have a job, so it's like, you can have multiple streams of income, but the only way that's going to work for you is if you create one at a time, make it work really well, and then you move on. So a lot of times, a lot of people want to, start businesses and stuff, and I think that's a great idea. I think that's one of the most phenomenal ways that you can scale your financial freedom is by starting a business and creating methods of generating passive income. So it's kind of like you have active income and you have passive income. So active income means you have to keep pedaling in order for that income to keep coming in, right? So, if you're going to work 9 to 5, that's active income. If you stop pedaling, if you stop going to work, you stop getting paid. But if you create a business that can ultimately be run or managed in an automated fashion, or managed by someone else, and then you just kind of oversee it, where you're kind of like orchestrating, then that's passive income. If you can, if you have a real estate income, right? If you have real estate, if you're renting properties out, then that's passive income. If you have set aside enough cash to be able to buy properties, maybe you don't buy properties. Maybe you do a deal with someone who's really good at identifying the properties, who doesn't have the capital, right? And then you provide the funding. And so you just say to you just create a deal, and this comes with, you got to educate yourself, right? But you create the deal where, hey man, I'm pretty much going to be your bank, right? So we'll split, I don't know, you might make 40% on your money. So I'll throw an example out there, right? And it's funny because I learned these things just because I've expanded. That was the other thing I was going to talk to you guys about, is expanding your circle. Expanding your circle so that you surround yourself with people who are going more in the direction of where you're trying to go. because you learn a lot from the people you hang around. Really quick, if you hang around a bunch of people who are negative and who have a very negative outlook on life, you're probably going to have a negative outlook on life. I learned this a long time ago. When you evaluate and think about the people who are closest to you, more than likely your income is going to be very close to their incomes. And the reason for that is because typically, and this is not everyone, but 90% or more situations, I've already looked at the statistics to prove it, your income is typically an average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. So if you're trying to move forward and you're not moving forward, a lot of times the people you hang around are actually pulling you down. So, I'm not saying like, it's kind of like, when we were talking about Warren Buffett before, sometimes I'm not saying like you should get rid of your friends, but you got to evaluate what are you getting out of the relationship. And sometimes when people grow, other people aren't willing to grow with you. And so it's a turnoff. It makes people uncomfortable. But then you got to say to yourself, am I going to be happy not growing into the best version of myself that I could have possibly been because I'm hanging around people that are holding me back, right? When you start thinking differently and other people haven't adopted the willingness to consider a new perspective on life, to consider a new way of thinking, then there creates conflict. And, sometimes relationships kind of have to end. That's just life. That's life. And, but anyway, so I don't even remember where I was on that one. Sorry about that. Don't be afraid to fail. So yeah, don't be afraid to fail. Some of the biggest lessons I've ever learned came from my failures. Like obviously no one wants to fail. Everyone, wants to win. I want to win, but sometimes you just have to fail. Like for example, look at YouTube. I cannot believe I'm doing a live right now. If you guys go to my about, you can see when I started this channel, you can see how crappy my videos were, right? And like here I am, I've been on this live for an hour and I'm super duper comfortable talking with you guys. A year ago, I started my channel, I think November 2019, and I would literally just mount my phone in the car and just talk. And I didn't tell anybody about the channel because I literally used the YouTube to kind of like help me become more comfortable talking to the camera. I wanted to improve. See, this is another thing. I created YouTube semi-selfishly. I actually created this channel because I wanted to become a better speaker. And, so it's kind of like, okay, if I only speak more, then I have to get better, And so that's kind of what happened. My confidence increased a little bit. And, the whole thing about life, no matter what you're trying to achieve, if you get 1% better, if you get 1% better, I gave this quote before from Einstein. He said that he said he said compound interest is like the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't understand it pays it, right? Now, what he was talking about wasn't limited to making money or like compounding your money. Compounding is a phenomenon that goes across the board. It's a natural law. So it applies in all aspects of life. So if you got 1% better, then next time you get 1% better, you're getting 1% of a gain on where you were initially, plus 1% on top of the last 1% that you earn, which is literally just like compound interest, right? So I'll give you a great example, right? Let's just say you got 10 grand and you made a 10% return on your investment. Now you have $11,000. Okay, my YouTube froze. Sorry guys, I don't even know what happened. Dang it, where was I? Okay. Whoops. All right. Yeah, so I'm back, guys. I hope you guys are still there. All right, so where was I? Oh yeah. So compounding works across the board. I hope you guys can hear me and see me still. YouTube was acting stupid. Can you guys comment? I don't know if you guys can see and hear me. Hey guys. Oh, cool. All right, cool. Thanks, Lisa. All right, so thanks, JFE Enterprises. All right, cool. So yeah. So compound interest, right? So let's just say you got 10 grand, you make a 10% return on your investment, you're up $1,000 because 10% of $10,000 is $1,000. Cool, right? So now you have $11,000. So now if you make another 10,000, or if you make another 10%, you're now compounding the gain you just got, right? So now if you make 10% on 11, what's that, $1,100? So your first payout was 1,000. The next payout is 1,100. So now your balance is like 12,100, right? So that's compounding. Now, if you got paid, if you earned another 10%, you're now making not 10% just on the 10,000 initial investment. You're making 10% on the 12,100, right? So that's like 1,210, right? So now it's 13,000. Was it 13,000? It's like $13,400 or something like that. Anyway, my point is this: in life, if you just get 1% better at everything you do, you're inevitably going to get better. You never want to just do things just to do things. You always want to think to yourself, how can I be more efficient? How can I be better? How can I be faster? And if you always take that approach to life and investing, it's inevitable for you to become more successful. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end it right here. But before I go, I'm going to just look at a couple questions and see if I can help, anybody out in the comments real quick. I've already gone over an hour. I literally just wanted to kind of like give some people some inspiration today. I hope I have done that. You never went off the air. You're still on. Oh, cool. Compound interest is great because the banks cheat you. Thanks, Queen of Destiny. How can a person on SSI have multiple streams of income and keep their SSDI? You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know the rules behind SSDI that would govern you losing it. So here's the thing. The same principles that apply to anybody else who's not on SSDI to create multiple streams of income will also apply to you. So, if you do the exact same thing that someone else was doing to become successful at creating multiple streams of income, whether you're on SSI or SSDI or not, you'll more than likely also be successful, assuming you apply the same principles in the same way, and all else being equal, chances are, give or take, you'll have the same degree of success. It's definitely going to depend on your ability to execute and strategize. However, since I don't know what kind of income could affect your ability to keep SSDI, obviously that's the one variable that's a bit weird and I can't speak on. But one thing I will say is this. I would, if I were you, and maybe I'll look into this, do some research on SSDI, figure out what you can do, what kind of income can you earn up to in order to keep your SSDI, right? So that's the first thing I would say. And I'm saying hypothetically, but let's just say your SSDI pays $1,000 a month. I don't know what it is, but let's just think this through, right? So if your SSDI pays $1,000 a month, then if you make $1, we need to figure out, are they going to just cut off your SSDI, or are they just going to reduce your SSDI by $1? So meaning you get $1,000 a month. Normally, if you generated $1, because you made $1, they're going to say, oh, you made $1, so we're only giving you $9.99. Okay, well, if that's fine. Personally, I would be okay with that. And I'm going to explain why I would be okay with that. But again, remember, this is all hypothetical. I'm just trying to think this through with you, because I don't know if you have anybody that you can kind of talk to kind of like work this thought process out. But the other thing I would say is maybe SSI works in such a way where, hey, they don't care. They'll keep paying you whatever they're. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get readjusted in this chair. All right, maybe SSI doesn't even care how much you make up to a certain point. So maybe you need to figure out, well, how much over a certain amount do they, will my benefits be impacted, right? Maybe it's $500 for all I know. I don't know. But I would say this. I would look at how much would I need to make to be no longer dependent on SSDI? That's the more important question, right? So let's just say SSDI pays $1,000 a month. How do I make more than $1,000 a month so that it doesn't even matter what SSDI pays me? I wouldn't even need it anymore, right? And if you can figure out how to make 1,000, if you can figure out how to make, if you're making 1,000 on SSDI, let's just say you figure out how to make 2,000, right? The cool thing about a business is typically, if you know what you're doing, you can scale that business. So if you figure out how to make if you figure out how to make 2,000, chances are you just figure out, all right, well, what's happening here? What are the actions? If you guys have ever heard of the Pareto principle, it's an 80-20 rule, right? So that means that 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of the activities that you do. So you got to figure out, well, if I'm on SSDI and I'm making $1,000, all right, I figured out how to make $2,000. Great. What's the 20% of the activities that led me to be able to make this $2,000? And now we just focus on how do we spend all of our time doing those 20% of activities that's bringing in 80% of the results. So that's definitely what I would be thinking about. And if I get some time, I'll definitely look into the rules related to SSDI, because, it's great that the government provides the support. But the problem with the support that I feel is that it puts people in a situation where they could do way better for themselves, but the way that they structure the payments, it makes people not really want to do better for themselves because they're worried about risking the one lifeline that they have, which is that payment. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get you guys to a situation where you could like just kill it, like why struggle and make $1,500 a month on like government benefits if you can make like $6,000 a month doing something else on your own? But I'm gonna have to look into that as soon as I get some free time. I'm just, oh my God, like my time, I have no time. I don't even know how I have time to do these lives. I'm sorry, let me just see if I can help anybody out, anybody else out in the comments. I think a person is allowed to make $115 per week on the books on Social Security disability. That comes from Guadalupe Rubino. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so I mean, let's just say hypothetically, if that's true, then that would mean that you could technically make what's 115 times 4 for the month. 115 to 60, that's $460 you can make for the month and not impact your benefits if that were the case, but we don't know for sure. We definitely want to look that up. Any contact info, email. Michael Clark, do you want my contact and email? Is that what you're asking for? Hey, I was gonna make $1,300 SDI. I could still make $1,200 a month on SSDI. You can make money. Oh, you can make money as much as you want as long as it's not earned income. So I don't know what you mean that you can make as much as you want as long as it's not earned income. So maybe you can elaborate on that down below. What is earned income? What do you mean by that? If you could break that down for me. Michael Clark, what's the best way to... So I got a Facebook group. It's called Financial... oh God, what's the name of what's the name of my Facebook group? My Facebook group is Financial Freedom, Multiple Streams of Income. If you just go to Facebook, you can join the group if you want to. Originally, I created that group for stimulus update information, but we're transitioning because the thing here, guys, is, the government's going to do whatever they're going to do. I'm going to keep sharing information with you guys about stimulus check updates and unemployment. And that's cool because we don't want to be in a sinking ship and not try to like bandage the ship and prevent water from coming in. And I think that's what the unemployment benefits are doing, as well as the stimulus checks. But the long-term solution is not, it isn't the stimulus check. It's not the unemployment. It's figuring out how to fish and generate your own income and invest and create the multiple streams of income for yourself. And you don't have to create multiple streams of income, but I like multiple streams of income because based on what I've learned from the Habits of Millionaires over the last 15 years, is that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So the way I looked at it was, well, if it's working for them, I want to do what they're doing, right? And so, that has helped me to achieve the successes that I've had. But you don't have to do that, but I definitely recommend it because it's kind of like a stock, right? I would never recommend anybody buy one single stock because now all your eggs are in that one basket. And what did our mom teach us when we were growing up? We don't want to have all our eggs in one basket. But I'd rather just have a few baskets and watch those few baskets, and that way we have that diversification. Chris C, I think I already joined the Facebook group. That's what's up, brother. Let's see. Zeta NAC 110. Investing in stocks is like boxing. Yeah, I guess I could see that analogy. You're not going to get in the ring with Mayweather if you're a newbie. Yeah, that's true. I definitely wouldn't do that. So anyway, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Williams Sheila. Social Security retirement disability income is based solely on what you paid into Social Security. You can work while disabled depending on your age, what you can earn without being penalized. So I'm still not clear on that. But anyway, guys, if you haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe. My program is coming out soon, Financial Freedom. I'm not even really sure what I'm going to call it officially, but the goal of the program is to help people, because I believe everyone can achieve some degree of financial freedom. So right now I'm kind of like thinking about calling it the Financial Freedom program. In that program, we're going to touch on several things. We'll touch on, how to improve your credit. We're going to be covering, how to make more money. It's definitely, I'm getting a 15% battery warning on my phone. It's going to touch on a little bit of online business and e-commerce. It's going to be an intro to online business and e-commerce. It's definitely going to cover investing and a number of different key items that enabled me to be in the situation that I'm in, that allowed me to be able to create businesses, invest in other people's businesses, to build a substantial investment portfolio in the stock market. So I think it's going to definitely benefit a lot of people. And basically, whenever those who are interested in it will actually benefit from all the future updates. Because, once I create this program, it will be updated, often. So it's not going to be one program where it's static, I'll definitely be updating the modules. And I think it's going to be incredibly helpful. And I look forward to hearing the feedback. And more importantly, I look forward to hearing about the success stories of the lives that have been changed. I want to hear, hey, Ron, before you, I never took a vacation in my life. And, here we are. On the coast of the Dominican Republic, and we're sipping what are those drinks? Mimosas, and I just want to let you know that I'm loving it, and I really appreciate the info. I'm looking to hear some success stories, and we're building a community, starting with the Financial Freedom Multiple Streams of Income Facebook group. We're building a community of like-minded people who want to progress. And here's the thing. Remember how I said your income is typically the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with most? Well, guess what? If you surrounded yourself with people who were making more than you, it only makes sense that eventually that your income goes up because you pick up on the habits and the actions that they're doing. And you're now, instead of having like negative influences in your life, you're surrounding yourself with other people with positive influences in your life, and then we scale up together. So the whole idea is I love to create a movement where, when I leave this earth, I leave it better than when I first got here. So Hey guys, if I can do it, I think anyone else can do it. I love you guys. I really hope that I can continue to provide value in your lives. If you got any value out of this content, do me a favor, share it on Facebook, like this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, guys.